Hello, hello everyone. How are you? My name is Mary D. Welch, and I came out today. Stop. Okay, okay. I'm gonna let them cut this out. Anyway, I'm here today to talk to you about starting a home business or business from home. Many of you may say you've thought about it, you just don't know how to get started, you don't know what you want to do. That's what I came here to talk to you about. I actually have a couple of businesses from home, but I'm going to talk to you just about one of those today, tell you how I got started, and just the process of what to do. I work as I said, from home. I everything happens from here. Um, my computer, those of you, the light, all of it happens in one room. Now you may say, "Well, I don't have an extra room." You don't really need an extra room to tell you the truth to start a business. I started in one little corner, and all I had was a laptop, and I used the lighting. I really didn't have any good lighting, to be honest with you. My lighting was terrible. Um, it wasn't good. It wasn't clear. Now I think you can see me pretty good with this lighting, but the lighting I had before, no, it wasn't good at all. But I still started. That was over 2 years ago, and I started broadcasting Facebook Lives, and I just did Facebook Live. Facebook Live. I had to get the willies out. And those of you know the willies of the butterflies. So what I did is I would go live. I was scared to death to go live, but I still did it, and just kept doing it. And now I go live every week. I do have a show that's on Mondays at 1 o'clock. But in the interim, I've learned so much about really facing your fears. That's what I've learned about. If I haven't learned anything else about everything I do, it's facing your fears. So I would encourage you, if you have thought about having a home-based business, if that thought's ever crossed your mind, I would encourage each of you to do the one thing that I know you can do. Let's do it. Let's do it. There's no magic to it. Now I'm not asking you to quit your job. I would never tell anybody to quit their job. I know I've heard people say those things. I wouldn't tell you that because I didn't quit my job. So I'm not going to suggest that you do that. But I would suggest that you look into it, do your due diligence and what it would take, whatever training you need to get it, before you make that leap, and really put yourself in position. Put yourself in position, because if you're worried about how you're going to pay your rent or your mortgage, then that may not be something you need to do. Because I will tell you honestly, I've been doing it, and just like anybody else, and it hasn't got as consistent as I would like, but I do make money from it, and it's now. Remember, I told you that was 2 years ago I started. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. Now it has evolved, and other things have, for instance, um, now I'm coaching people. I'm doing other things. It's not just going live on Facebook anymore. That's not what I do go live on Facebook, but that's not the only thing I do. And so it has been an eye opener to me of the different things that you can do. You can do so many things. As you know, in our economy right now, so many millions of people are working from home. So as long as you have a computer and you have the internet and you have a cell phone, you're pretty much in. That depends on what it is you want to do. But I'm saying if it's something that requires those devices, most of us have that. We tend to, not everybody, but we tend to have those. So that would be something I would really encourage you. Make sure you have those things. But the other part of it is, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to do? Because let me just tell each and every one of you, it has to be something that goes beyond thinking it's going to be a 9 to 5. Because I'm telling you, it is not 9 to 5. When you own your own business, the time is irrelevant because you have things to do. It's not like you have to go in and clock in, and it's not like that. So when you're on your own business, there may be times you're up till 12 midnight. It could be because you have a client and you have to finish a project for them or you have to get something back to them. So you're not on a clock. The clock is doesn't exist. You're doing the work a lot of times until it gets done. So it's just a different mentality that's involved. So I would encourage you, if you want to have a business from home, then this is some of the things I want to go over with you. Okay, one, that you would need to know what the business is. What is it that you want to have from home? I don't know what that is. Only you know what that is. In addition to that, you would need to know, do you need help doing the business? Are you going to need a virtual assistant? Are you going to need, and those of you that don't know what that is, a virtual assistant is someone, they don't work, they may work anywhere in the world, to be honest with you, but they do things for you like clerical things. Like, for instance, maybe you need to add names to your database. And this person is going, they have a password that they can go in and add names, or they can go in and make Excel spreadsheets or make flyers or do things that are clerical that you either don't want to do or don't have the time to do, or either one of those things. And then some of you may say, well, how much does a virtual assistant cost? I know I haven't heard the question, but I'm just going to say that's probably a question you're going to ask. This is what I would, let's see, how much does one cost? It depends on where you're getting your virtual assistant. Yeah, I work with a virtual assistant in the United States, and she is $25 an hour for the assistant, United States. And I work with a virtual assistant that's in another country, and she is $6 an hour. Now, you may say, why do I have two virtual assistants? Because they're doing different things. So that's why one virtual assistant is working on one project that I need I need to be able to communicate orally with her. So I cannot do that with my other virtual assistant that's somewhere else in the world. So I can do it by email, but sometimes it doesn't always translate. So I've learned you do need another virtual assistant that speaks English. I knew, at least that's what I need. And so that's what I do. I have two. And they seem to work pretty good. If they, and then another question someone may have is, do they know each other or anything like that? And the answer is right now they don't. It may come a time I'll introduce them to each other. But at this time, one works for me doing one project, or right now we're on one, and the other works for me in another project. So it just depends on where the need is. That's the difference on what they're doing. And as I said before, one is $25 an hour and one is $6 an hour. So it just depends. The one that's 25, I use her sparingly because, and they're both worth it. Let me just say that they're both worth the money that they're being paid. They're excellent. I can't complain about them, but it's still, you have to compensate your people. So I would encourage you, if you have anyone that's working for you, make sure you compensate them well, because you want to keep good people. You don't want to have to come back and train people again and things like that. So what did I say? The very first thing was decide what you want to do. Decide what is it that you would love to do working from home, and decide what you'll do where money is not the object. I can't tell you how important that is, because when you make money the object, then you're working, you're working a job. That's really what it is. What I always say when I'm working, I'm in it to have fun. And if I'm not having fun, why am I doing it? I'm always about the fun. So even though I'm working, don't get me wrong, I'm working. There's no doubt in my mind I'm working. But I try to have fun while I'm working. And I really do. I try to Make sure it's a good time. It's not just work, 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 and I don't really get to enjoy it or appreciate it. So this is what you want to keep in mind. Let me give you some other pointers you want to keep in mind. You want to make sure um, that when you're working from home, as I said before about having fun, make sure it's something you like. Don't do it as something you don't, and you're saying, well, I'm doing this because I can make a lot of money. Do you know there'll never be an end to that? If you're doing something for money, there's never an end to it. But when you're doing something because you like it, it doesn't matter. The money is just it's a plus. Let me just say that. It's a plus when you get the money. It's like, oh, good, that's nice. But the truth is, you're having so much fun. And the reason I know that's true, there's some people online, and I heard someone else say this, and they said they're having so much fun. Now, this person, what they do is they go in and buy companies, and then they build them up and to then make so much money with them, and then they turn around and sell them to somebody else. They said they love it. Think about that. They love it. They don't. It's it's just, I guess, like almost like buying a house, but they buy companies and they do that now, and they work from home. They work from home. So I would encourage you, think about what it is you like, not just like you love to do. Maybe it's photography, maybe you're a musician, maybe you're a singer, maybe you're a dancer, maybe you make cakes, maybe you make cookies. I don't know. So whatever it is, I'll tell you too about in just a moment. I'll tell you what I do. And I'll show you a couple of the books. Now, what I would encourage you to is to realize whatever it is you do, you have to be disciplined. You've got to be disciplined. There's no way around it. My problem is, believe it or not, I'm a workaholic. I love it so much. I didn't know this. Somebody told me this though. They said that's a true sign of an entrepreneur because I can't hardly sleep for enjoying the work. Isn't that something? I enjoy it so much I can hardly sleep. That is true. It is true because I'll sleep for a few hours, maybe three, five is probably the most. That's the most I'll sleep. Then I'm up and at it again because I'm so enjoying the work. But at the same time, I know I have to get my rest. I've got to get my rest. So um, keep that in mind. That if there is something you're doing now, you're not watching the clock. You're not you just love it, not just enjoy it. You love it. You want to do it 24/7. That's when you know you're really in the right place. That's when you know that you are where you're supposed to be when it's like that. I promise you are. Because what it is, no matter what you're doing, you're going to be good at it because your love for it can only get better and better and better. That's just how it is because you're going to be doing it more and more and more. So that's where you're going to have the love for it. So just keep in mind, ladies, gentlemen, keep in mind that you need a place to call home for your business. Now, as I mentioned before, it's a friend came by. This is a couple of years ago when I first started, and he saw where I was broadcasting from, and he started chuckling. He was laughing. He had, because remember, all you see is this one window, so you don't really see the room of the broadcast. This room isn't that bad or anything like that. But at the time that this gentleman was at the couple of years ago, the room was that bad. It was like, oh my God. He came in and he looked, he said, "Are you kidding? Are you joking?" I said, "No." And he goes, "Well, one thing I'll give you credit for, you started somewhere, didn't you?" I said, "Yep." And now it's totally different. I mean, everything is different. So at the same time, I had to start somewhere. This is what I would tell you. If you're waiting for perfection, stop waiting and just start. Just start wherever you are. Just start. If it's okay, if you don't know where to start, let me give you some pointers. Get a notebook. And those of you that are tech savvy, if you want to put it in a Microsoft Word, fine. I think for me, well, I'll just speak for me. It's better for me to write it down. That hand-eye coordination thing, I think, is real for me. I write everything down, then I transfer it to to a doc, and then I print it, which I know a lot of you guys don't do that. You're not about paper, because I know, because my sons are not about paper. I don't depend on 100% on computers like that, because things can happen. I know it's in the cloud and everybody talks about that. I understand that, but I still write it down. I still write it down. I still print it out. I still do all. I still do the old-fashioned way. That's just me. I don't think I'll ever get out of that, because that's the generation I came of. Don't put all your trust in the computers. So anyway, write it down. Let me stress that to you on whatever it is you want to do. And as they say, and make it plain. What is it? Is it you're an artist? Maybe you're an illustrator. You want to do children's books. I don't know. Whatever it is, whatever the it is, then that's what you need to start there. And do not wait for everything to be perfect. I'm talking to you now. 2 years ago, I wouldn't be here. I can tell you for a fact 2 years ago, because I had to first get through the willies. You know, the willies, my stomach getting all crazy and I'm nervous and I'm now talking to you. It's hard to believe I'm not even nervous at all. But I've been doing it for a couple of years, because this is what I've learned about getting past, all of that emotional. There's no other way but to go through it. I couldn't be here if I hadn't gotten past all that. And so every single week I do a broadcast. Every single week I do a broadcast. And because of that, the willies, and now they don't exist. I'm not saying they're not there, but I don't have not nearly what I was doing. I was before I started broadcasting weekly. So write it down, whatever it is you want to do. Now, what are your steps to get there? Let's say you want to teach dance. There are people teaching dance online. Let's say you want to be a sculptor, a painter, an artist, a singer, whatever it is. There is someone online doing it now. You don't have to go into a studio and physically be there. And I have a feeling those days, I'm not saying they're over, but now your reach is so much greater by being online. You don't have to just wait on people to do things anymore. You can just go on and just be online. Just be online. It's simpler. It's easier. Now, if you don't know how to set everything up, now you may need help with that. A coach or somebody to show you how to do that so you can be compensated. But you can do it. I can tell you that. You can do it. Okay? So make sure you get, like I said, I suggest a notebook. And you can go to Walmart and get a little notebook and just get some place to write your idea down and what it is you want to do. And then we start there. Because if you don't know what it is, we can't get there. You got to know what it is so you know when you get there. So is it, you want to start your own podcast or your own show or your own YouTube channel? What is it that you want to do? And then we can go from there. Let's just start there. That's where I know that's the beginning. Now, I will also tell you too, I'm looking here at my notes. What would you do, and as I said, if nobody is paying you? What if you do this and you don't get paid? You don't make any money from it. That's usually the reality, by the way. For the first few years, nowadays, I won't say that, because of the onset of the internet, you could make money right away, depending on what it is that you're doing. You may not have to wait. I can tell you for a fact, I know some people that they've done well, So I would encourage you, whatever it is, that you learn how to do it. So I won't say you won't have to wait. I can almost guarantee you won't have to wait years if you know how to make money, or someone who can show you how to make the money. on using the internet. Now I'll tell you what I did. I actually did this by kind of like by accident, but I learned how to write books. And I have a book right now. I'll show it to you so you can see it. And this is called Saying No Nicely. This is a book that I wrote, and I'm really proud of it. This is my first book for adults because most books I write are for children. And like this book, which is Have You Seen a Red Elephant? These are all written from home right here. This book right here, this, so you can see that. And they're both on Amazon. And I say that because the idea came in my head I'll tell you about red elephant. Idea came in my head. And I just said, have you seen a red elephant? That's exactly what I just said, the words, have you seen a red elephant? And then I thought, and then in fact, I changed it. I said, it was at first, have you ever seen a red elephant was the name of the book. And I said, no, that's a little too many words. And I took ever out and I put, have you seen a red elephant? And that is a book for 3-year-olds to 5-year-olds. I wrote the book and then I had to go and take the steps to get it done. I did not do the artwork in the book. That's done by a graphic artist or illustrator. So what that person does is bring my words to life. And it's pretty interesting. I mean, you know, you work hand in hand with them. You don't just give them the book and just walk away. At least I don't. So I have to know that we are doing this in collaboration. Once they get the character down, pretty much they come back to me and say, is this what you're looking for? Is this what you're thinking about? What do you like? What do you don't like? Because their goal is to make it something that I will be happy with. Because like it or not, ladies and gentlemen, our energy goes into everything of who we are. So they want to make sure I'm pleased with it, whatever their project is. And the Saying No Nicely project, that was written because I didn't know how to say no. Because I did not know. Think about this, because I had a problem saying, and I ended up writing a book. I wrote a book about saying no nicely. How do you say no? And then in the subtitle, for those of you that are interested, how to set boundaries and avoid burnout without feeling guilty. Think about that. How to set boundaries and avoid burnout without feeling guilty. And I'm not saying that men don't feel guilty, because I find it's a lot of women that don't know how to say no. We take on everything. We're gonna take on the world. We do as women. We multitask. We get they've done studies about all these things. Women, we can't do one thing. We have to be doing 10 things. That's just, I don't know what it is, but that's not everybody's not like that. But I find a lot of people are like that. So find what works for you. Writing may not be your thing. If it isn't, that's okay. I know I'm going to talk to you about another business. When I did come back, I'll do another show and it's going to talk about another business. So I'm going to give you some more pointers, but to tell you that I have multiple. I'm one of the, what they call them, serialpreneurs. I don't know why. I just can't have just one business. I have to have a few, but that's who I am. And it's taken me a long time to understand that. That's okay. That's okay. As the saying goes, do you, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever you is, whatever that is, do you. If it's the writing, do you. If it's being an artist, do you. If it's being a dancer, do you. That doesn't matter what you is, do that. Do that. Because in addition to that, I also have another business from home. Also, it's a home-based business, and it's internet. It's all done through the internet, and I love it. It's something that I really, really enjoy. So, and that is in another industry. So I'm going to wait and tell you that at the next show, because I don't want anybody confused as to, I'm talking about books, and I'm going to another topic in the same show. So I'll wait for the next show to tell you about that. But it is still something I think you might be interested in. So you have to find your niche. And I will tell you, it may take you a little while to find that. It may not come out right overnight. You may find it overnight, but you may not. Remember, you're finding what makes you happy. What makes you not get out of bed in the morning? I mean, leap out of the bed in the morning. You're so happy to be doing what you love. Now, if you're already doing that and you're doing that on your job, then I'm glad. I'm glad for you. I'm actually a retired teacher. I am a retired teacher. So, and there was nothing wrong with education. I loved education, but I also knew I was getting older. And if there was something else I needed to do as these years are winding down, I need to know what it is. And that's why I ended up retiring. I took an early retirement. And to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't write for 4 years after I retired. For 4 years. 4 years later, I retired. I'm sorry, I wrote. So many people think I started writing the minute I retired, which is not true. No. I went through tragedy. We had losses in our family. My youngest brother passed away. Then 90 days later, my mother passed away. Just all kinds of, it sent me into a depression, trying to deal with this. Two immediate family members, and we lost them within 90 days. That was huge, huge. But it also, I think, truthfully, it helped push out the creativity that was in me that I didn't even know was there because of the feelings of loss, the pain of loss. And that's when I came into the knowledge that I could write. Now, I would hate for it to be like, I didn't know that's what would do it, but it did. So I would encourage you that it not come to that you find, that you find that out without going through the pain and the hurt of that. Take the time, try different things. Maybe, community college classes. Because I remember when I was searching, I remember this. I bought paintbrushes and paint. And I said, well, maybe I'm supposed to paint. That wasn't it. I didn't know what was it. I had no clue. So I was just trying different things. And I think that's, a good idea. If you don't know, give yourself permission to find out. It's okay to find out. Don't feel like you have to know, because the truth is you don't. You don't. Don't say, oh, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm supposed to be a singing or a songwriter or make it. I don't know. Whatever it is, this is what I always say. Whatever you are seeking is seeking you. It's seeking you. And that's what I think for me happened, is it was seeking me. Because the day I found out I could write, the day I wrote, it was a friend, she told me a story. Now, she told me a story, she was just telling it. She didn't say it was a story, she was just telling me something that happened in her life. I told her, that's a story. I actually said, that's a children's book. And she said, I do not know what you're talking about. I remember that day so clearly, because why is it, I even said to her, don't you see it? Can't you see it? She said, no, I don't, what are you talking about? But that day I did the one thing that would change my life. I wrote it down, and I've been writing ever since. So for the last 4 years, I've been writing. And what you've seen is a couple of the books. There's more coming. The one now, Stuck in the Elevator, is with the artist, and it should be done shortly. And that one will be published. It'll be on Amazon, but they're coming. So I'd like to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I have truly enjoyed this time I've spent with you. I will be back, and I will tell you about the other business I have other than writing. So those of you that want to know, come on back. Come on back, and we'll spend some time together, and I'll tell you about that business. Because you, like I said before, you have to find what works for you. Everything doesn't work for everybody. So just know, find what works for you, what makes you happy, makes your heart sing, and that's all you need to know. So thank you, each and every one of you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.